Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and today we are looking at the next leader class, Age of the Primes, entry into the 13. Yep, we have Onyx Prime here, direct from In Demand Toys. They actually got it a little week ago, but I had it on an order with an additional item, and because they can't split orders, I would have had to have waited. So they were very, very helpful and helped me resolve that issue, and I now have it in hand. So thank you, In Demand Toys, for my copy of Onyx Prime. And let's get straight into it. Onyx Prime looks phenomenal in there. It's not a character I know much about, but it is one that I've been quite excited about. Usually my interest in beast mode Transformers isn't, you know, as some of you will already be aware, isn't super high. But there was something about this figure when I saw it unveiled that I thought, this could be something special. Artwork on the front of the box looks pretty good. There's Onyx Prime in a variety of modes. As I say, I don't know enough about Onyx Prime to make too many comments at this stage, but we'll get there. This is him, I think, in a sort of winged centaur mode. No, that might be his griffin mode. I'm using words like I know what they mean. There's a bit of an extract from the 13 diorama that we have, and that there is, I believe, Onyx Prime. We have the lovely black gold on black writing for the 13 that's become synonymous with this part of the range. And here on the back we have the obligatory product shots, robot mode, centaur mode, and sort of six-legged griffin type mode. And here we have the triptych mask staff, which is his unique artifact, and I can't wait to see how the artifacts all combine together to make something else, or whether indeed they combine, because I'm seeing the artifacts and I'm thinking, well, I don't know how they're going to combine into anything, but I'm wondering whether they don't combine into something. I'm wondering whether they combine with something else that's coming down the line of the primes, and they actually all combine with that, and that's what produces the whatever the hell it is. Anyway, enough of packaging and blah blah blah. It looks fantastic, but let's get him out of the box. So out of the box straight away, I can tell you this particular Prime is a terribly impressive piece. Very limited activity needed to sort of get him ready for out of the box this and that. The head is beautifully sculpted. I'll get in close in a second. I'll just do a couple of quick negatives. One, and I think this has been talked about by the people who've got early copies, the triptych staff, much like a lot of the artifacts that these guys are getting, has two tabs, and they tab on the inside of the hand. The hand is articulated. I can show you that here. I hope I can show you that here. Yeah, there you go. So it's open, close. The slot is here. You probably won't see that there. The slot is there, but it's the same on both sides. But what it means is you can't then close his hand fully, which is unfortunate. So that's a bit unfortunate because it looks a bit obvious. I spent too long trying to understand the instructions, which kept saying put his face down. Let me just zoom in a bit so you can see, because he really does have a fantastic head sculpt. And let me see if I can just get it just right, because I really want you to see the eyes there, because they are beautiful, beautiful red eyes that he has, but they're tucked away under this bit. Unfortunately, the head was already posed like this, so the instructions said pull this out more, and I'm trying to say I don't think it can, and it can't. So watch out if your head is already, if your Onyx Prime face is already fully extended, then just be super mindful of that, because you might be being instructed to do something it shouldn't do. It does compress in though, because I tried it the other way around just to see if it would close, and that's why I was getting muddled. And it does close, and it does need to close for transformation. So that's that sorted. The second thing is his tail, which, as we know, also opens out to a bow weapon, attaches under this part. There's a tab socket there. the instructions look like, unless you're really paying attention, which I wasn't, it wants you to tab it in here, which looks like it makes sense because it's in sort of an identical place. But don't, because it won't fit, and you'll have a few moments of going, but it doesn't fit. That doesn't make sense. You do have, I did have, let me move that out of the way, it's probably because of that, there you go. Waist articulation, you've got plenty of that there, nice bit of waist swivel there. I've got a bit of issue with the arms. They, as they rotate up, they collide, so you missed that. They collide a bit with these over-the-shoulder hooves, which does make upward rotation, certainly on my copy, a little tricky. But these do move slightly, and you can extend outwards, but there's not a huge range of movement. That said, I always get a little bit irked when people try and get them to do T-poses and Van Damme splits. I'm never going to be posing my figures in those arrangements. Any of my dynamic poses will be rooted in slightly more viable positions. I'll also just quickly show you the triptych mask. This is his artifact, and you can see there, just there, you can see his insignia, which actually represents and resembles the triptych mask. It's very well painted on one side. The second side isn't painted at all, but is nicely detailed. Not sure whether that's there's a reason for it or not, but that's where we are. Apologies, I'm just going to show you something else that it didn't say in the instructions. He keeps falling backwards. There's heels here. Look at this. Look at this. Absolutely ingenious. Who'd have thought it? So now let's see if I'm having the same problem. Now I've done that. My guess is I'm not. Right. Yeah, now he can stand up without too much grief. Let's come out slightly for you. Yeah, there we go. So those heels, doesn't mention about opening those heels in the instructions, FYI. And I now feel like a bit of a numpty, but I'm not going to go back in time because that's life. And actually, yeah, they do give a fantastic amount of reverse support. So let's just have a quick look at surface detailing. You can see there's some, again, wonderful mechanical detail and beastie detail. You can see there's sort of molded fur on the interior of the arms. He does have a bit of a traditional-ish beast mode leg situation. Not a lot you can do about that, and I can live with this. That's really nice surface detailing, and I can live with it to an extent because, as mentioned, you know, these primes are all supposed to be. Let's take a look at the back. Again, you can see the molded on detail on the wings there. He's giving us Deathsaurus vibes and Grimlock vibes with a bit of a head thing that's poking down on the back there. Let me close that down a bit there, it's a bit unsightly. And again, everything's filled in nicely, which you'd kind of expect for a leader class. And again, I know we know this is par for the course, but his wings can spread, give him a bit more of a presence, and they do also articulate backwards slightly to give him a bit more of a breadth. So I would say he does have a tremendous presence as Onyx Prime. Really fantastic. And then let me just tug this up slightly, because what we'll do now is we'll just pop him next to his two prime. Let me move him back slightly. But we can put him next to his two deluxe prime counterparts, Solus and Alchemist, who can we can see how that looks, and it's not bad. He looks terribly protective of them, doesn't he? What a sweetheart. So there's those two. We can then go for the two Voyager class figures, which I appreciate, one of which is a presumptive Voyager class figure because it's Vector Prime, although Vector Prime of course came out in the Legacy line, but we're assuming it's probably going to be the same mould that comes out with Age of the Primes, so that's an additional one down, so I'm happy with that. Might do a revisit. If that is the case, I might revisit him just for this this playlist purpose, and do a better video, frankly. So that's how he scales with them. Then, of course, we have the only other leader class so far released in this line so far, which is Megatronus. See if we can get them side by side. Megatronus is being a nuisance. There we go. And I would, yeah, I mean, Onyx is already a little taller. Not, I think the wings make it more prominent, but I think from a head-to-head point of view, it's easy to see. I'm not including the weapons, but from a head-to-head point of view, I would say Onyx is even taller than Megatronus there. So impressive stuff. I would put him with Star Optimus, but I think that would just be ludicrous at this point. So what I will do is I'll do some photos as always for the outro of the video, and you can see him in all his glory with his fellow primes, including Star Optimus in that. So what do we think? I think his robot mode, very impressive, very, very impressive. Looking forward to doing lots with this over time. But he's also a beast. So he's a beast and he's a triple changer. So I think the first mode we can go into from the instructions point of view is Centaur mode. So I'm going to take him off camera and do that. I'll report back with any particular findings or distresses that occur as a result of that. Be right back. And here we are with Onyx Prime transformed up into his Centaur mode. Now, first things first, the Centaur mode overall does look really good. It does look fantastic. The wings are swooped up, the legs, the four legs there, out like that. Some really, really clever transformation activity in order to get the feet and the hooves where they need to be. I really liked it. I must admit, I genuinely enjoyed everything about that part of the transformation. There were some clearance issues, and those clearance issues seem to continue to return, mostly around the legs and the arms, and it's just I think it's a design issue where, because of some of the angular and unusual shapes of parts of the limbs, we do have some unavoidable clearance issues, but they're not huge. And if you're gentle when you're doing it and don't go about it like a nutcase, then you will find it's quite doable. You just have to be gentle and not rush it until at least until you're accustomed to it and the tolerances, and then you'll find you can probably do it a lot better. We do have in Centaur mode, you can see his legs are there. We do have articulation across the piece, double joints in places, some hoof articulation. I'll just show you the one side because it's the same both sides. We have the real legs there, and then I mean that's very Beast Wars, isn't it? Very Beast Machines, Beast Wars, whatever they're called. The head sculpt, this is where that head transforms, just so you can see that there. Let's bring this side up slightly. We will get a close look at this head sculpt. This head sculpt, just FYI, it gives me Predator vibes, which might be perfectly feasible. But yeah, so I'm getting Predator vibes from that particular head sculpt. But you can see there with this head sculpt, this is where the head compresses, the face compresses. So you've got jaws, golden jaws, and a golden beak, and there are red eyes in the crown of that head. So it looks really good. It does look really, really good. So no complaints from me. The big complaint from me is this weapon. Let me just zoom out a little bit for you there. This is supposed to be a sort of bow and arrow arrangement, and it does tab together, but when you put it in his hand, it looks like that. So he can't actually fire it. I was imagining it was going to be something we could hold that would look similarly to the way Deathsaurus holds his bow and arrow from his chest force. But unfortunately, I've tried it in both hands, but unfortunately it just doesn't. So the tail opens up to form the main part of the bow, and then the triptych mask spear forms that part. And this is how the instructions show you to do it. When I was first doing it, I thought they wanted this on the outside, which they do, I suppose, and this was the inside. So I was trying to line things up and I couldn't make it work. So it is the more detailed and sculpted side that they want you to connect it to. Yeah, I can't make sense of the arrangement, and the instructions just say he holds it in this hand and off he troddles. So let's just pretend it's not there, and just take another sort of look at the figure. I might just rotate it around a bit for you. But yeah, I think the wings are fantastic. You can see here the wings pivot. Again, this is very much like Deathsaurus, the HasLab Deathsaurus, in terms of the engineering that we're seeing. Watch out for those overlapping wings. They're soft plastic, but they're a bit sort of overlappy, and I've just got visions of them getting tangled. But yeah, the four legs here, I really like it. There was some really good body transformation as well, where a whole section rotates around to change the sort of outline and shape of the body. So I really like it. I mean, the back looks okay. We've still got this sort of fake head here, which is coming into the third version, the third iteration. That's popped up again. It should be down there. That's as folded in as it gets. But yeah, I think overall it's fair to say that it does look quite good. And again, I will get some sort of up close shots of this photographically, just so you can see it sort of in situ and outside of the studio, which we'll tag at the end of the video. So this is Centaur mode, which leaves us with one more mode, which is sort of I think the six-legged griffin creature. So without further ado, I shall transform that. And whilst I'm doing that, it'd be great if you could just drop a like to the video. And also, if you haven't already, a subscription to the channel, that would be amazing. But if not, don't worry, I'll be back before you can shake a couple of metallic wings at your T screen. So here we have Onyx Prime in his griffin mode, winged griffin mode. And again, it's another spectacular form. But looking at the instructions as I just was, I got a bit confused because there's actually a fourth mode, which I'll get onto in a second. But here you can see the bow works as the tail installed there, and the other element is installed there. But yeah, now we have a six-legged mode. The wings are in full deployment, and now we have this wonderful head sculpt, which finally comes into play. I'll bring it a bit closer, where you can see those golden horns, the red eyes. We do have an articulated jaw there with the teeth. I don't know if it's blast effect compatible. It appears not, but that's fine. But yeah, so we've got this wonderful head, which has a surprising amount of articulation in it. So we've got some side to side, wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. And yes, and we have all six legs deployed. So we now have a six-legged winged beast. But looking at the instructions, we also have an option to go to a four-legged version of this, where the central legs, these ones here, redeploy. So I'll just give you a chance to have a look round all the various sides of Onyx Prime in this griffin mode. And again, this was quite easy to transform, although you do feel it's a little bit convoluted when you're trying to do it, because there's a little bit of, and this is something I know some people really can't stomach, but there is a bit of, quite frankly, if I'm brutally honest, there is a bit of duplication transformation. You have to do some steps just so you get bits out of the way and then undo those steps. But there's not too much of that. If I'm honest, it is a fun transformation, especially as you see it sort of take shape and you go, oh, that goes in there, that's clever. So this is the six-legged assault mode. Bear with me 2 seconds, and apologies for this video going on longer than I anticipated, but there's just so much to look at and see here. We'll now go into the four-legged mode, and as if by magic, now we are a four-legged griffin thing. So yeah, not too sure what the point of that additional mode is, but it does reposition those legs back to where they are for the robot mode. So I don't know whether it's preemptive, trying to make people's lives easier down the road. but this form, it does still have the same articulation as it had before. It's just got 2 legs less. But it's just, I suppose it's an alternative option. And I suppose if we are saying that this is, you know, this is the original Beast transformer, then it makes sense that there are several Beast variant modes within his structure that leads to everything that comes next. You know, Predacons, Terracons, Seacons, all the cons really, all the beasts of the Transformers universe. I wonder if this is the great grandfather of Ravage, for example. Things to ponder on. So anyway, this was Onyx Prime in all of his glory, and it's an impressive figure, you know. And you can pose and repose the wings. There's so much posability and playability with this figure. I would say it might just be my copy. Some of the pegs aren't great, which it's fine because you can just peg the things back on, but where you can see the mushroom pegs in the arms, they've popped out a couple of times. Again, it's partially the clearance issue, and I think that's my biggest gripe for this, is the clearance issue. Does really get in the way of the transformation. Once things are transformed, it's okay, but there is a degree of frustration to be had with aspects of the transformations due to some of those clearance issues that I think could easily have been avoided, if I'm completely honest. But there you go. That's just me. What do I know? That's just a personal view. I'd love to know what your views are like. Have you already received your Onyx Prime? I know some people have had theirs for a little while and other people are still waiting. So if you've got yours, what's been your experience? Have you enjoyed messing with it? I do personally think a lot of the primes in the 13 range so far, whether you like their alt modes or not, I do think that they're really great figures, and I think they're really great to mess with and go back to again and again. So I am having a lot of fun with that particular range. And I wasn't sure I was going to have the sort of level of fun that I am having, so that's a bonus. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts about this particular character down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to getting it in hand? Do you have it in hand, etc, etc? And what particular mode will be your preference in terms of how you display it? Well, let me know down below. As ever, thank you so much for your company whilst I've been having a look at this figure, and it just remains for me to say that as the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector, I very much look forward to seeing you in a future, or of course a past video, and that this has been Onyx Prime from the Takara Tomy and Hasbro's Age of the Primes range, and is one of the 13. And I just have to say that a thing of beauty-ish, really is a toy forever. Bye bye for now.